Good morning students. Today we are going to learn from economics chapter 3, that is money and credit. Now in this lesson, first topic they have given, that is money as a medium of exchange. Today we all of us are well aware how we are using money as our transactions. For example, when we speak about our daily life, in the morning, milkman comes to our house and gives the milk, and we pay back money immediately or at the end of the month with an agreement. And when we speak about our parents, they go to the shop and they buy groceries, vegetables and whatever necessary for the houses. They buy and give the money to the shopkeeper and bring home the things or the items. For example, you go to the shop to buy book, pencil and whatever necessary for your school life, and you pay the money to the shopkeeper and you take back things that is needed for you. So today we are using money as a medium of exchange. Money stands as a medium of transaction. Now what is that we need to learn is, before the use of money, what did the people do? What they used for transaction, that we need to pay attention. That is, before the use of money, people followed the system that is called barter system. Now what is this barter system? In barter system, people did not use money, but rather they used goods to exchange for goods. Things are exchanged for things without use of money. Now in this barter system, now what is the limitation that we have? When you have money for exchange, for transaction, you don't find any problem. You straight away go to the shop or wherever places, you pay the money and you get the things. But in barter system, there was one limitation. Now what is this limitation in barter system? That is double coincidence of wants. Now for example, there is a shoe manufacturer and wheat producer. Now this shoe manufacturer goes in need of wheat. Now this shoe manufacturer go to the wheat producer and ask for the wheat. Now wheat producer does not need the shoe. So there arises the problem in exchange of goods for goods. And this problem we say as double coincidence of wants. What is this double coincidence of wants? Now exactly the seller has to sell the things which the buyer wants to buy. Otherwise there is a problem arises in exchange of goods. The buyer has to agree with the seller with the goods which they need to exchange. Therefore, now this double coincidence of wants being eliminated with the use of money as a medium of exchange. Now this is where the money eliminates or solves the problem of the double coincidence of wants. Now you should be clear about double coincidence of wants. Double coincidence of wants, both the parties, that is one who buys and one who sells, both has to agree to exchange their items. Otherwise they are not able to get the items what they needed. Whereas this problem is solved because of use of money as a medium of exchange. Okay, now this is the first point in your book, money as a medium of exchange. It solves the problem of double coincidence of wants. And second one is modern forms of money. Now what is the forms of money that we are using? We know very clearly. It is paper note and coins. That is what we are using in a modern transaction. That is paper notes and coins. Now before these paper notes and coins, what was the things that people used as forms of money? So before money came into use, they used grains, cattle, gold, silver, copper coins. Okay, first of all they used grains to exchange as a form of money. Second, they used cattle and later they started use metallic coins, that is gold, silver, copper and coins. Now when we speak about this gold, silver, copper and coins and grains and cattle, it has got its own value. Gold has got its own value, silver has got its own value, copper has got its own value, also the grains and the cattle, it has got its own use and the value. And when we speak about modern forms of currency, that is paper notes and coins, it has got no use of its own. A paper has got no value unless and until it is issued by the authority of the government. When it is acknowledged and authorized by the government, then it has got the value. Otherwise, the modern forms of currency do not have any value of its own when we compare with the earlier forms of money that the people used. Now, one more point here. Now, who issues these modern forms of currency? In India, it is the Reserve Bank of India who issues the currency for India, and in the honor of central government, Reserve Bank of India has the power and authority to issue the currency in India in honor of the central government. Now these two things you need to have in your mind, that is the earlier use forms of money has got its own value, but today the modern forms of currency, that is paper note and coins, they do not have value of its own. When it becomes value, when it is authorized by the government, and in India it is the Reserve Bank of India who has the authority to issue the currency notes and coins. And third point that in this topic that you need to learn is deposit with the banks. Now when we speak about deposit with the banks, now we are using money as a medium of exchange. So people use this money for their daily use, and when they have more than daily use, what they do? Persons who get salary at the end of the month, they have more amount. This more amount they do not want to keep with themselves, and they deposit in the bank for the safety purposes or any other purposes we can say. When they deposit with the bank, what happens? They are able to receive interest. Their money is safe as far as they are able to benefit a amount little more than what they deposit in the bank. Second thing is demand deposit. Now anytime you want to withdraw this money for your purpose, you can go and demand with the deposit, or they are bank is authorized to pay you back this demand deposit. That is why it is called demand deposit. You can demand back from the bank. And one more benefit of depositing money in the bank is, that is check payment. Now you want to pay a large amount for some purpose. Now you need not pay in cash. You need not keep this cash in your hand. What happens? You can pay through the bank itself to the person whom you want to make the payment. Now you write a check and you authorize the bank to pay this check to the person whom you wanted to make the payment, and directly the cash goes to the pay for whom you want to make the payment. Okay, now these three things you need to remember under this topic, that is before money came into forms, what was the form that the people used? Second one is modern forms of currency and its value. Third one is deposit with the bank and its benefit. What is the benefit when you deposit money in the bank, and what is it, how does it helps you? Third one is topic is loan activities of banks. Now here comes the credit. We are taking credit from the bank, loan from the bank. Now how does it works? Now bank stands as a medium between the depositor and the borrower. Bank is as a mediator between the depositor and the borrowers. Now what is the depositor do? Depositor goes to the bank and deposits the money, and when he deposits the money, later he withdraws this amount with interest. With interest he withdraws. Now whereas borrower, one who needs money, goes to the bank, takes the credit, takes the loan, and what happens? Now he repays the money to the bank with an interest. Now here the people are taking interest from the bank, and here the people are paying interest to the bank. Now one difference that we have to see, the bank takes more interest from the borrower and bank pays less interest to the depositor. Now the difference between the bank taking more interest from the borrower and less interest to the borrower, whatever difference comes, that is the income of the bank. The bank keeps this income for their purposes because it is their way of functioning which helps them to gain income for their running of the banking system. Okay, here you need to keep, that is depositor and borrower, both, one who deposits money and takes the money with interest, and here people are taking the money and paying back the interest, and there is a difference, more interest is in borrower, has to pay back to the money, and less interest bank gives to the depositor. So this difference you should know. Next, last topic is two different credit situations. Now two different credit situations, that is, one example we have Salim and second example we have Sapna. Now Salim is a person, shoe manufacturer. Now how does these credit helps? That is what we are going to learn. The loan which we are taking, how does it help? Now shoe manufacturer, he is getting an order from a trader, that is, he is getting to manufacture 3000 pair of shoes. Now 3000 pair of shoes the shoe manufacturer has to manufacture within a period of 1 month. Now what will the Salim do? Immediately Salim will hire some more persons which he needs to manufacture 3000 pair of shoes within a month. And second thing what he will do, he will go and ask the leather supplier to lend leather that he will pay back at the end of the month. With an agreement, he will take leather from the leather supplier and he will pay, he will promise to pay at the end of the month. And second thing is, that is, he will get an advance of 1000 pair of shoes, money for 1000 pair of shoes from the trader itself. So here the Salim is getting two credit, one is from the trader and second one is from the supplier, leather supplier. So now these two credit which the Salim gets helps him in his business. Now what he does, within a period of 1 month, he is able to make 3000 pair of shoes and he hands over these 3 pair of shoes to the trader, and the trader pays him the full amount. When he is paid full amount, he goes and pays to the shoe supplier. So here the credit helps Salim in his life and he is able to grow and develop. And whereas second example what we speak about, Sapna the farmer. Now Sapna is the farmer and she has got a small plot of land, and what does she do? She goes to the bank, she takes a loan and she invests this loan in the small piece of land. And what happens when she invests this loan in the small piece of land? During her course of time, during her course of farming, the crops gets failure. When we speak about crops gets failure, there are many reasons. Maybe less rain, less irrigation, lack of facilities for irrigation, and pest, insecticide, all these things attacks the crops and crops fully failure. Now whatever amount the Sapna has taken from the bank, she has not able to pay back with the crop because the crop failure. Now already she is going into debt. She has to pay the loan as well as she has to pay the interest. Now second, again she goes to the second time to take loan from the bank second time. Now when she takes second time, again she invests in the land and she tries her best to come up with the money and pay back with the loan. Now this time to some extent the crop supports and she gets some amount of money, but this amount of money is not enough to pay back the last loan as well as present loan as well as the interest. Now what do we see in this situation of Sapna? Now when we see about the case of Sapna in rural areas, what happens? It is a particular period of time when the farmers seek loan from the bank, and when they take this loan back from the bank and they invest in the farming, and at a particular time at the season of harvesting they are able to pay back these loans. And now when during this time the farmers are not helped and the crops are not grown in a friendly manner or in a suitable manner, then it leads to real disappointment for the farmers. So what can we do during this time? The rural areas, the crop production, whatever the people needs, they need in a considerable rate, that is seed to be provided, fertilizer to be provided, pesticides to be provided, or the water irrigation, electricity, all these things. When a considerable rate we are able to provide these to the farmers, then they are able to be helped with this credit. Otherwise this lending of credit for the farmers, it leads to them to the disappointing situations that they are not able to come up with this problem and they are not able to pay back the loans. As a result, what happens? They have to sell the piece of land that they have, then only they are able to pay back the loans that they have taken from the bank. So it leads to a sadful situation in the case of Sapanas, and it leads to a successful life in the case of Salim when we speak about two different credit situations. So students, here I stop. We will continue the rest of the topic in the next lesson. Read the lesson, understand these points as well as do the homework, the question answers which I have given you. Thank you.